Welcome to the True Mark. Life worth living. If we have disasters in our life, we always tend to, drop out of living. We give up. And why do we give up? Is because we have life's not worth living for.
Oh yeah.
So you have to get a reason to have a life worth living. You study to get a good job, or you study, your education to become a better person. All that leads to something. But some of us, we have generational curses, and that's passed down to us. And some people that, got, how do you call it? Schizophrenia and stuff, or lost within themselves. You know, is it a generational curse? Was it passed down from generational,
Yeah.
from years and years ago? That's possible. But is there a cure for it? 100%. And the cure is finding a belief within yourself, like a purpose for your life, a purpose for your life worth living for.
Yeah, exactly.
You're not going to have that abilities if you don't have something to look forward to. So I use the keys to heaven for my abilities to have my life worth living for. And the keys lead me to God and Christ, and more so for what they, what their purpose was to change us as
Individuals.
yeah, individuals. Correct. And some people just don't want to believe. Some people just don't want to have that outer look of God and Christ is real. Well, definitely they are real, and definitely curses are real, and definitely our abilities of worth living is real. If you don't have life worth living for, ain't that real?
Exactly. Yeah.
So having that in place, it shows that God is real, Christ is real, the Spirit is real, and life is worth living is 100% real.
Lots of people choose not to believe it because it's not something they can physically see. Like they'd rather believe what they can
Yeah, no,
see.
but would they rather have a disability of life not worth living for?
Exactly.
The sadness in everyday living, not having that good job, not having things, poor education. You know, for me, it's an example. I bet you I got a grade 5 education, and I travel through life really well, and I own multiple businesses. Was it my choice? I think God led me to it, and I think God gave me the abilities to have it. Because I had a far beyond belief that God was still existing. It's just that I choose to live life of partying and being stupid, and living within the world's living. But it was still living, but it was a really poor choices.
Well, some people they don't know how to live; they just survive, and they take every day just surviving.
Yeah, because they don't look at the outside of
Yeah.
what they're living for. They don't have that abilities to see outside of that area, knowing that they have that spirit within them. We all have it. Everybody has it, but it's to get that thing lit up.
Yeah, exactly.
And light it up and keep it burning, keep it going, and keep life worth living for. Because you're gonna have more opportunities out there if you have a purpose in it.
Exactly. Yeah.
So you got to create that purpose, and it's like anything. Uh, People have organizations like, biker gangs and all these leaderships and gangs, and it's because they need a place of belonging.
Yeah, belonging.
It's a place of belonging, fellowship, and friendship, and And even in their friendship, they fight, they argue, and they cause all
Mhm.
kinds of trouble within themselves. And somebody's better than the other, and it goes on. But and bottom line, we're all equal. We're all as one, and more so, that fellowship is because you're lonely inside. If you weren't lonely inside, you wouldn't need all that fellowship.
Exactly. Yeah.
And the only reason why you're lonely is because your spirit is lame. It's way down low within you. If you get that lit up, your fellowship would be minimized. You don't need a whole bunch of people to be in that group. And if you were, you'll be able to see through that group and enjoy that group better, and has more opportunities to prosper in your group.
Mm-hmm.
And
Everyone would understand each other better.
100%, yeah. But even a group, if you don't have a spiritual awakening within you, you're still lame. You're still lonely. You're still going to be craving stuff. You're going to be doing drugs. You're going to be drinking. You're going to be doing crazy things for a jolt. And that
Exactly.
jolt is a negative jolt. A lot of cases it's not a good thing. You know.
Mm-hmm.
And then back to the old saying, it's life worth living for. When you're down and out, you pity yourself. But who's really at wrong? Us as
Yeah.
individuals. Like, I mean, we choose how we live. We choose, the ways of bettering ourselves, or, education and all that stuff's good. But I mean, once you get that spirit alive within you, everything becomes good. Like, and then life is worth living for.
Exactly. Yeah.
Once you get that uh, spark going and keep it going. And like I said, the keys to heaven, it's a system base, and the way it does, it keeps that thing lit up within you.
Mm-hmm.
And by having it lit up, you know, life becomes worth living for 100%. But you get to see and pick better choices because you have something to look forward to. And more so, you're forced to accept Christ. You're forced to accept God within that because it's all about God and Christ.
Yeah, but like, it's not necessarily forced. You choose to do it.
You choose, but I mean, you're
Yeah.
forced. If you're living within the system, you're forced.
I know, but it doesn't feel forced. So I feel
No,
like
but I
that's
mean,
not the right word
but
to
it's
use.
well, okay. Like, I mean, it's still it centers you for your journey,
Yeah. Yeah.
and then your journey becomes successful
Mm-hmm.
at whatever you do. But more so, you have that purpose in life to choose better, choose better ways of your life
Exactly.
living,
Yeah.
so it becomes worth living for. So all you people out there that are down and out, and lonely, and feeling sorry for yourself, well, you're doing it to yourself,
Exactly.
because
Yeah.
there is a way out of that. And there is a
Mm-hmm.
way that you don't need this medication all the time, because that medication is just a false belief. Some
Exactly.
people do need it, but once it's like if you take an aspirin, your headache's gone before you even, as soon as you pop that aspirin. It's because in your mind that aspirin's going to take away your headache. So get that
Mm-hmm.
spirit within you and let it work for you, and that means it's better than any aspirin. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I took a Tylenol yesterday because I was having a headache, but I mean, because it's my old way of thinking, and you still fall into it sometimes. But I mean, in reality, you don't have all that because you try to eat better. You
Yeah, I was
drink your
gonna say.
water. You're nurturing yourself better. You're watching. You're listening to your body. You're
Mm-hmm.
listening to things around you, because it's not you anymore. It's your spirit that's kind of really picking up on stuff.
Exactly. And there's lots of more healthier ways than medication.
100%. But people tend to live on that medication because they're so used to it, and they're scared to come
Exactly. Yeah.
off of it. They're scared to come off it.
Or they grew up in an environment where like they grew up in an environment where it was like normalized, so like they felt like it was needed to get rid of a headache.
or any pain.
Yeah, I was gonna say or any pain.
But I mean, it's in reality, God created the aspirin first, but every pharmaceutical plant choose to get, I'm going to get a better pill. I'm going to get this one better. I'm going to get that one better, and everybody's got these better ones. So all of a sudden, you got a major crisis on your hands. You got all kinds of pills you're taking.
Yeah.
When the aspirin was good enough.
Exactly. Yeah.
So, like I mean,
medication is obviously good in ways, but it's not something you should depend on.
Yeah, like I mean, I'd say it's a last resort.
Yeah.
If my spirit doesn't take me out of my pains and journey, and then you look at a different opportunity. But I mean, if it's working for you, what do you need all that pollution for? You know, what do you need all that other stuff? You know, you're killing yourself, and you're taking you into a more deeper depression, because when you don't have that pill, you're going to be running around in circles, and you're going to be, you know, more out of balance because you are codependent on that pill.
Exactly. Yeah.
So it's best to get off all that stuff if you can. But I mean, it's
in the right amount of time. Like if you're taking multiple pills and then like you just completely stop them all, that might have like a really bad negative effect.
You have a withdrawal system.
Yeah.
But I mean, that withdrawal is only going to last for so long, and it's mentally. So once you go through all that stuff, and you believe in your spirit, and your spirit's going to take you way further. It's like the old saying, like you can move mountains and that's within the spirit and with your energies. You're not literally moving the mountain, but deep inside, you're moving that mountain.
Exactly. Yeah, it's like metaphorically.
Yeah, metaphors. Like, and that's, you know, even myself, how I was led to do this. It was a metaphors that got me to do it. It wasn't my mentally thinking, well, I wanted to do it. I was led to do it, and it took a long time because I was fighting against it. In a lot of cases, I didn't want to go that way in some ways. But I mean, like they say, God has its purpose and timing. I mean, what is the timing? Especially if you could change yourself today by a system, but you choose not to. Like, I mean, and the system has that abilities to change you. You lost a great opportunity.
Yeah, you like missed out on one extra day to be closer to that, I guess. Because it's not like you completely missed out on the opportunity. You're just not that much closer. Date. Yeah.
But I mean, the world is saying the world's ending. The world's ending. That's, you hear that every day.
Yeah, but it's not ended yet, so there's still a chance to get closer.
But tomorrow might. The next day it might.
But if it doesn't, you still have the chance to get closer, right? So it's like
you got to jump on the boat before you drown.
Exactly.
You know, get on the boat. And I know this one guy told me a little thing about this dinghy and
what's that?
A hardware store guy. I went to go get some materials and stuff, and I was talking about God and stuff, and he goes, "Oh yeah, but God," like he said that, this guy was in on this ocean, and he had this little boat, and his motor went or something, and then a guy come along with a dinghy, and he said, "Well, you want to lift?" "Oh no, God's with me. God's with me. I trust in God. I trust in God." And then, okay, another boat comes along, and the other boat's guy says, "Hey," and you know, it was days that he was sitting there. "Oh no, God's with me. God's with me." Okay, and then a ship comes along, and he says, and it's weeks this guy's been in there. He's almost dying, and then he goes, "Oh no, God's with me. God's with me." And then he ends up dying.
God's been showing him all those people that.
Yeah, he ends up dying. And he goes, "God, I thought you had my back. God, I thought you had my back." I did. I sent you a dinghy. I sent you a boat. I even sent you a ship. And that's the same thing. You know, we're sending you, you know, the true mark, the keys to heaven. You have that abilities to get on.
Exactly.
You know, you have that abilities to save yourself. And do you need church? I don't believe so. But I mean, it's good fellowship. And if it's a place you could go to help change somebody, it's a good place to go.
Or something to help you feel more connected.
Both places, and definitely opportunities. But I mean, like there's other things I've been saying, like just because you do things, good deeds ain't good enough. It's the spirit within you that's got to be lit up, and that's the most important thing within all of us. It's our spirits, and God sent Christ. God sent everybody in the beginning of time to have this change within us. But if we choose not to change, it's your loss. It's our loss if we don't do it.
Yeah.
And does death become it? You're dead, spiritually dead already. So you don't have that abilities to get out of your depression. You don't have your abilities to feel good. You don't feel, the happiness that you could have. And so what is it? That's a punishment. And why are you being punished? Because you didn't accept the gift. It's a gift.
Yeah, that's true.
It's a gift to get you out of all ways of living, to become a better person, that better you. And if it's a gangsters, bikers or whatever, they're all welcome. And more so, the fellowship becomes strong.
Mm-hmm.
You're not lonely no more. You don't need all that other baggage and all that stuff you got to carry along with your life. Yeah. Because once you got that spirit, you could help and influence everybody to become that better person. Mm-hmm. But you have to take that first leap. And the biggest thing is that understanding is could be in a dark place, but I mean the light is open to you. It's
exactly
God's revealing Himself from day one, and us as people, we tend to push it aside. We'll do it later. Yeah. But on your last dying breath, and that's when you decide you want to turn to God. Well, that's too late. Mm-hmm. It's too late. And you could ask Him. God's a loving God, but He's an angry God too. Because I mean, if He let you go roaming around in the world lost, you know what I mean? And He gave you the abilities to have that, the means of having that spirit lit up and having a straight and narrow ways to live a better life. Mm-hmm. And then when you do go and end up in heaven, you won't have to guess where you're going, because you're going to know wherever you're going.
Exactly, yeah. Like you don't, while you're living in the world too, like you're not going to worry about, am I going to heaven? Am I going to go to hell? Like
no, because you already know. You really know inside because of how you're living, how you're practicing your life. And if you got a spirit lit up within you, you have no worries.
Exactly. Yeah.
But if that spirit's not lit up, then I'd be worrying. Mm-hmm. And that goes for all of us. Gangsters, these Aboriginal gangs, all kinds of gangs. There's gangs all over the whole world. And more so, you were led to be where you are. But more so, once you get that spirit within you, you're the ones to change this world.
Yeah.
Because all negative, if you look at all the negative, there's 100% positive in your negative life. Mm-hmm. And that means you could change it. You could stop this drug flow. You could stop all this, and all you gangsters out there, like the bikers and stuff, by all means, like, you really think, like, if you put all your bad stuff beside you and you become that number one, people be looking at you like a movie star, because they'll wonder what happened to you. Really, what happened to you? You have interviews after interviews, and more so, they'll be wanting to do commercials with you. They'll want to do movies with you. They want to know your past. They're gonna want to know all that. But and more so, you turn the whole thing right around, a 99-degree turn, and you're changing the world.
I've seen multiple videos like that, though.
Completely changeovers, and the biggest thing is, like a lot of these other guys, they get out of prison and then they turn their life around, and now they're trying to, stand up and talk about God and the change and stuff. But I mean, the changes within yourself. You got to change yourself within yourself. And the more so, once you get that spirit, you become free. And when you become living in that truth, you become free. And you got to stay in truth and be led by truth. And in order to do that, you got to feed that spirit and stay lit up within yourself. Once you're lit up, you're going to be led. And you're going to be led in better in directions that you would have never known to take.
Yeah, that's so true.
And that's your spirit leading you. But I mean, you're orderly to get that. You have to be spiritually lit up. And Jesus came into this world to give us that spirit. And unfortunately, a lot of us didn't accept it enough to be filled up to make that move. So to do that move, and change will automatically happen. It will automatically happen. You don't have to change yourself. It will lead you into a change.
Exactly.
Because you're feeding yourself, nurturing your spirit within your shell, and you become that lit up person.
Yeah, and if you don't have to like change yourself before you start connecting with God too. It's like
it just happens.
Yeah.
And
it'll change after.
It's like a flower. You give it a little bit of water, and you keep feeding it. But I mean, if you drench it down, you're gonna drown it. But you got to give it enough and stay hungry for more.
Yeah. You
got to stay hungry for more because you don't want to be bored of what you're doing. And if you become bored of it, there's definitely something wrong within the way you're studying or whatever. Like even guys that have counseling and stuff, they become this counselor. And once they become this counselor, well, God's no good no more because they got counseling. They got their system base that's getting them what they're getting, and they get a paycheck. They're living. They got a boat. They got a little house. They got a little car, and they got a little happy family. But they're missing out on that opportunity to have that spirit within them because of that little thing you took on. There's more to just having that little bit because you're going to be going in and out of life, and that's having good, bad, and loneliness, and then you get married, you're happy, and a year later you're at each other's throat, and next thing you're on a divorce line.
Yeah.
And why is that? And it's because the spirit within either one of you or all of you wasn't inlit and wasn't lit up. Because once it's lit up, you definitely wouldn't be going through no divorce, and you definitely wouldn't be at each other's throat. So
that's true.
100%. You'll
have more communication.
More communication, more peace within each other, and more understanding. Because you have that spirit looking at the outside of everything. And everybody has their purpose.
Exactly, yeah.
Even like if you have a little dog in your house or something, like after your kids are grown up, you get a little animal and you got a little animal, and all of a sudden that little animal does crazy things and it gives you a little laugh. And your spirit gets a little laugh, and then you feel a little humid and you feel a little bit better because of a little animal that just gave you a little excitement.
Well, that's very true, yeah.
So just think, if your spirit's lit up, you're going to be excited mostly all the time. With all.
And you don't let anger or frustration get to you.
Well, you get angry, but when you get over it, it's like I said before, before you hit the ground, you're already gone and off and running again. But I mean, is life worth living? 100%. When you're living within the spirit and when you're letting that spirit grow within you, definitely 100% life is worth living for.
Yeah.
And I recommend it for everybody.
Definitely, yeah.
So,
that's kind of like that metaphor where people say life's just not worth living, but it's because you're not looking at it in a proper way. You're looking at life oh, everything's miserable, I hate this, I hate that, but you're not looking at all the positive things, like how it's sunny out today, or
but when you're in the spirit, Christina, it can be a cloudy day.
That's what I'm trying to get at.
It's still sunny within you.
I know, that's what I was talking about.
Yeah. So it's great. And you know, like, I mean, it's yeah, so life is worth living for, right? When you change your ways of living.
Exactly. Like it's just like the small things you'll see, like I said, like the sun being out, someone smiling at you down the street, someone holding the door open for you. Like all those small things, they make your day better, and you remember about them. Whereas like
Yeah.
if you didn't have the spirit, you'd just be like, oh, I don't care, and then you'll only focus on the negative things.
Yeah, because we're shielded with the darkness. The darkness is over covering us.
Exactly. Yeah.
So if you have abilities to have that brightness within you, and that's that
You'll
spirit,
see it a lot more.
Yeah, guaranteed. So life is worth living for. So,
Definitely.
I don't know, like, I mean, what else do you like to say?
I don't know.
I get you stuck.
Yeah.
But I don't know, like, I mean, do you still have like downtimes? Just because you have the spirit doesn't mean you're not gonna have downtimes, but you get out of it quicker, right?
Yeah. Like I'm just trying to think of the last time I even had like a down moment. Like I don't really get upset as much anymore either. And I don't let small things affect me.
Because you're overcoming it.
Yeah.
Eh? Because there's bigger things that you're looking forward to.
The only thing I could think of right now is like being overwhelmed with like stuff I need to do. But then I just like take it bit by bit and then I get over it.
Yeah, I guess, eh? It's the same with myself, like with the rentals and stuff. Just go fix it.
Yeah, exactly.
It just
and you
gets
don't have
done.
to do it all at once. It's do each thing and then your pile gets smaller.
Well, it becomes more funner
less.
because you're more you could coordinate your stuff quicker, so you're not stumbling
more
over
organized,
stuff. Yeah. Well, it falls on its own organization. It gets organized on its own because it's a spirit leading you. It's not going to lead you into disorganized, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, well, people out there, I guess it's between yourselves, and I feel like if you're down and really feel like there's nothing left in the world because you're in a dark place, well, you could come out.
Exactly.
You don't need to be in that dark place, and that's for everybody. All walks of life is it deserves light and life worth living for.
Sometimes it doesn't feel that easy, like you feel so stuck, but it genuinely is kind of easy. Like you just have to take the first step and then it all falls in afterwards.
Well, you gotta feed the spirit.
Well, no, I mean, yeah, that's what I mean. Like you take the first step and then
once your
you
spirit's
get used to
fed,
doing it, and then
it gets
yeah,
juvenile. It's like a battery being recharged all the time.
But I feel like the hardest part is taking that first step because then after that, it all just like comes right in front of you, so you can just take the next
believing
step.
in that first step.
Yeah.
It's the believing in that first step. Because I mean, is it that good that it's so hard to believe in? And you think,
I think that's what lots of people think. It's too good to be true.
Yeah, like, I mean, how could that happen? It's impossible. Everybody's waiting for Jesus to come, but Jesus ain't gonna come unless you're in the right spirit.
And he's already here in ways, like he might not physically be
spiritually.
here. Yeah.
He's spiritually here. He's energy. Yeah. God's energy and spirit's energy. Or Jesus has got the energy within you. Yeah. That's that spirit within us that gets lit up. It's God and Christ and the Holy Spirit all in one. And being lit up and getting filled, it's an ongoing journey, and it's going to be a great journey. And you don't have to worry about the world ending because it already ended, and your new world is already enlightened within yourself. So you're living within a new world of your own, and it's worth to everybody. Deserves it, and I don't know if I'm rambling on the same thing over and over.
I think we changed topics.
But the biggest thing is the spirit is real, darkness is real, and it's either way we choose to live our life. We want to live in a little bit of darkness and a little bit of light, or I prefer now, I'd rather live all in brightness and all in light,
Exactly.
because a little bit of darkness is okay. Before I had too much darkness, but I get a little push that keeps me on my toes to stay in the light.
Oh, I guess, yeah, but you still don't want to be back and forth within it.
You don't want to get sucked in. You don't want to be like a vacuum.
Yeah.
So practice, I say not practice. You take it as a life, life change. I live like by the keys to heaven, and why I do it because it feeds me that 100%. Because you become that 100%er if you live by it the way it's designed, and if you choose to read the Bible, choose to go to church, it's great. But if you can't stay on a system and keep juvenize, getting your battery constantly jolted to
Mm-hmm.
stay alive and stay lit up, if you're gonna stop that system, you break this cycle. It's like unplugging the charger,
Yeah.
But if you keep that charger plugged in and continue to do it, you're always going to be lit up. But it's still growing stages.
That's kind of true because like once you unplug a charger, like it's not like it immediately stops right then and there, but it will not stay charged forever. Like
No, and then the
yeah.
battery's going to die off.
Yeah.
And that's the same as us as people.
Mm-hmm.
And then I know a lot of people thought I was crazy and say they still think I'm crazy. And, they say like I'm on the wrong path. You know, come and see me. Look at my fruits that I got to offer. And if I got bad fruits, well, then you could see it. But if I got fruits of what my spirit's leading me and teaching me and leading me to do,
Mm-hmm.
it shows itself.
Exactly.
But if you're going to church and you're out stealing and you're doing crazy things, well, your fruits are showing too. You can't hide from who you really are because you are who you are.
Mm-hmm.
Till next time.